And we're here with the 27th episode of the Fun Football Podcast. I've got Pete from the Foxborough Fellows podcast. How you doing, man? Thanks for joining the
Going
show.
on? Thank you. Thank you for having me. We could be doing better. I think both of us are suffering after a loss here, but we can get into all of that later.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. After doing, after watching the game today, I almost didn't want to turn the Cowboy game on even, and any of the late games because I was pretty disappointed. Packers, man, I watched your game and they fought the Chiefs in the first half. There was a couple of calls that sucked too. I actually watched a lot of your game. I gave up on both in the fourth quarter. We'll get into it in a minute, but my defense was pretty much trash today. I was pretty disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking before, and you made the inappropriate reference that Baker Mayfield looked like Tom Brady in his heyday, and I've already given you enough crap, so I won't continue on that path. But yeah, Baker Mayfield turned into a genius today against the Packers defense, and I only watched the highlights, admittedly, because they played the same time as my Patriots. But
No, you're
it looked
good.
like it looked like they gashed them. It didn't look like there was some like tight coverage and they made some plays. It just looked like the Packers defense wasn't within 6 feet of them. I don't know if I saw that right.
This is me disheartened as a Packers fan because I was holding out hope that we were 6-7. We had the 7 seed, and we play. Here's our remaining schedule. We play after this stupid Tampa game that we lost. Now we're 6-8, so I'm losing hope. We play Carolina, and I'm pretty upset about it. I'm trying to get over it. We play Carolina, Chicago, Minnesota. So honestly, even though Chicago was playing better and Minnesota's D is good, we should beat Carolina. But now I'm like, I don't know. The reason I said it is Baker had like almost 400 yards and 4 TDs, and he was just torching. Man, our pass D was supposed to be our strength. We were like, I don't know, 10th or 11th in pass D. And this is with, I don't know if you know Alexander, our top corner. He's been a Pro Bowler. And Stokes just came back today without our top two corners at the beginning of the year. And we've been a top dozen pass D. But our run D has been awful. And today it was like, it was the opposite. They didn't run the ball effectively at all. But all game, our guys were, it was so annoying. We were playing soft shell coverage all game. We had 5 sacks, so we got some pressure and a strip sack, and we still weren't able to slow them down. It was
Yeah,
yeah, it was bad. One
when you
guy
look
had
at a
100
stat
yards
line,
at halftime.
when you look at a stat line with 5 sacks, and you're still throwing 381 yards and 4 touchdowns, something went wrong. Something also goes wrong when 380 yards are thrown and 155 of them are to one guy. He had
Yeah.
22 completions and 10 of them are to one guy. Like, can someone cover Chris Godwin, please?
And Mike Evans didn't even have a field day, but he just torched the guy on a touchdown. Then David Moore. This is when I left. I don't remember how long the play. Oh, I got it right here. It was 52 yards. David Moore broke 2 tackles and just took it down the field. And then I was at Chili's, so I was watching. They didn't have a fourth game on. I was watching the Giants, who I also picked in an upset, lose to the Saints. I was watching your game and mine, and your game was more compelling than mine for most of it. Um, I just lost it when David Moore, I'd never even heard of him, had a
Did you watch
52-yard
that
touchdown.
play? Did you see the end of it though?
The Bucks Packers,
No, no. So the
mine.
end of the David Moore touchdown, he's starting to go into the end zone and he sticks the ball behind him in like celebration. And one of the guys
Oh yeah,
knocks the ball. Yeah, that was that play. He
yes,
knocks the
that's
ball out
right.
at the very end. And
Yeah,
I
man.
kind of did like was that a fumble? Was that a touchdown? Like, because the David Moore just was like, nah, it's cool, man. Like, that's a touchdown. Like, I'm not even gonna sweat it at all. But like, that was almost a fumble in the end zone, and that could have set that a touchback if you fumble it through the back of the end zone. So that could have been really bad. Which
Yeah,
was turned out okay.
that could have been really bad. I forgot about that. I was watching. I was like, okay, I'm gonna hold out hope for a second. Like I went to the bathroom. And I came back. I was like, oh, they almost stripped the ball. Like no way. Maybe no. And then I just gave up because I was like, our defense clearly can't stop a nosebleed today. Like it's over. But no,
Yep.
I did see the replay. Like I was really mad, so I was closing out and I was ready to leave. Um, gosh, it was just
It was a close one for a while, right? 10
it
10
really
at,
was.
at,
It was
at
the
one point.
defense though. The defense just continued to let Baker have whatever he wanted. And I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie, because I have Rashad White in fantasy, so we can do some fantasy chat. So I have CJ Stroud. I was surprised Houston won today, but I'm gonna buy in my one league that's left. I'm in 3 of them. Um, but I have Rashad White. He's been kind of my gem all year, but he's not a great runner. Hold on, I'm trying to get somebody in this show.
I mean, I'm a little checked out of fantasy myself. Not to
How'd you do?
brag, but the two money, or the two leagues that were worth something. I'm on the buy in both of them. Finished first
Yeah.
one place,
What was
second
your
the other,
record?
and then I think it was, how many weeks are there? 14. So I was 12-2 in one league. And then the other league, I think I lost 3 times, 11 wins. I don't know if that math checks out, but yeah, no, a handful of losses, maybe 2 or 3 in both leagues. I kind of got lucky. So here's my scenario, and you can kind of tell me your thoughts. I want to hear your thoughts, and then I'll tell you what I did. So
Okay.
both of my leagues that I'm in are 2 QB leagues. What would be your draft strategy in a 2 QB league?
Well, I'd either try to get a top flight guy and then get a streamer, or in a 2 QB league, I like to have one guy I can absolutely count on. And honestly, it's really tough, but I always try to get 3. But that's the strategy for everybody. I've done fantasy for 25 years. I've only done a 2 QB league once, and it was a blast. I need to do it again,
So
man.
the 2 QB
It
league is
was
the
fun.
only way to go, in my opinion. And here are my thoughts on it. Not to
Okay.
divulge completely into a fantasy
No, this
conversation, but
is
I feel
fun.
like it's
No,
natural. It's
I've
fun.
had
No,
people
we'll go where
asking
we
for more
want to go, right?
fantasy. I
Yeah.
love it.
All right.
No,
So
people have asked me
no.
for more fantasy content.
All right. So
They're
here's the
getting
two
it right
QB.
now.
2 QB leagues are the way to go. Why? Because there's like 30 something teams in the NFL. And if you have like 10, 12-man league, everyone gets a good QB. Everyone gets a top 10 QB if you're in a 10-man league. But if you run a 2 QB league, everyone gets a top 10 QB, fine if they go that route. But then they actually have to know the league and know how to draft to get that second QB. And what are they going to do? Like you said, are you going to get 2 top flight? Are you going to go 2 mid tier? Are you going to stream the second one? Are you going to get 3 solid ones so that one of the 2 that you're starting gets injured? You have that third one to plug and play. So I asked you what you would do. You said you would try to get a top tier one. So I'm thinking top 5 QB and then
Or
stream
2 in the
one.
middle, or 2
2
like
in the
at that
middle.
10 to 14 range, something like that. Like, you would have got lucky with Dak this year because, I mean, except for today's game, would he have
I
like
have him in
80
one league.
yards? Sorry,
Well,
I've got a lot of
I'm on a
Cowboys
bye, so
fans.
it's a
We're gonna
great week
trash
for it.
them. We're gonna trash the Cowboys in a minute. It's gonna be fun. It's coming. I live near Dallas, and I hate the Cowboys. I'm so over them. So we're gonna trash them. Okay, so
Cowboys. All right, so in
sorry.
my 2 QB league. All right, so
Okay.
one's a dynasty league where you keep 3 players, and the players that I kept were well, I only had to keep 2 because I had traded one of my keeper spots. So I kept Cooper. No, sorry, I kept Tyreek Hill and Justin Herbert. So Justin Herbert obviously went down, but in that league I had drafted Dak Prescott, and with my last round pick, I think I got Kyler Murray. So Kyler Murray is now off the IR. I had
Yeah.
him on the bench all season, so now it's Kyler Murray and Dak Prescott taking me through the playoffs. So it's kind of working out for me there. That was kind of a little bit of a stroke of luck, but also Justin Herbert was good planning, so it's fine. My other
Good
league.
plan on
This is the
Murray.
league where
When did you snag Murray? I gotta ask really quick. I'm
so
just curious.
I had this is a dynasty league and we do 5-year sets and this is the
Okay.
third year of it,
Okay.
right? So in year 2 I realized I wasn't going to win and I sold a bunch of players, made a bunch of trades. So I was done drafting in like round 12 and everyone else had like 5 more rounds after me. So I had built this team that was just really solid from the bench up. Everyone's really good on my team. Like I run through like DK Metcalf doesn't start on my team. Amari Cooper doesn't start on my team. Like I got like really good depth. I can run through the whole team, but I don't think you guys need to hear my whole spiel. But anyway, the depth is amazing. So I got Kyler Murray, I think, with like in round 12, but that was my last round pick. Or it was round 11 and I picked Dallas's D in round 12 as my last round pick. Everyone's like, wow, that's early. I'm like, well, I'm done drafting. It's my last round, guys. Like, and you can't trade down in a Yahoo league in the middle of the draft. So it wasn't like I could try to get more value out of that
I
pick. It
wish
was
they
like
added
time to
that.
pick someone. That
The
would be a cool
trading
feature for a guy.
that's gonna be coming,
Mid draft, that would be really
Yeah.
cool.
That's
All
gotta
right,
be
so
coming,
that
don't you think? Like the NFL draft lets you do it. This is fantasy, but it's not a professional league. But they got it. I think they're gonna go that direction. Because like when I used to do, because I can't tell if I'm older than you, but I was drafting before fantasy was online, and we would do trades in the middle, and it was kind of fun. Like it would be before it would start, and we would just do a quick vote when we were on a timer before we were online, like in the early to mid 2000s, and it added so much. So I wish they would go that route. That'd be really cool. Okay, sorry,
Yeah,
man.
in
I just
person.
had
If
to
you
throw
could
that
do
in.
an in-person draft, that makes it so much easier too, because it just you can kind of slow things down. But it takes 5 years. You're doing it in person, so the
Oh
internet
yeah,
really adds that get it done type of mentality. But anyway, so
yeah.
that's how I finished that league. And the interesting league, I think, is not the dynasty league because I was forced into Justin Herbert. I had Hill. The the other league where I
Hill,
had two
man.
QBs. Yeah, that lucky, right? But also he's a good
Yeah.
player.
Well,
So
if he comes back, you're going to be in good shape. Just depends on if he
I
comes
think it's
back.
fine, right? Have the off week with Dak, have Hill sit. It's almost like, yeah, rest him during my bye. Everyone knows it was my bye.
Exactly.
I don't need him this week. Have him come back strong next. So the two QBs, I got Mahomes and Allen. And so I'm just kind of like running like every week, people have to go up against Mahomes and Allen at the same time. And everyone else was picking a good QB and then, picking a second QB in the later rounds and, streaming one out of the pool. But, a decent QB could get you 15, 16 points. But Allen and Mahomes are getting you 25 a week. So a solid 10 differential over a stream, and there's no real other position where you can get a plus 10. So
Nah.
I've been kind of lucky in the sense that I've had two top tier quarterbacks that score 20 plus a week. Just you think about if they both get 25, there's 50 of the 100 something. There's halfway to 100 right there with two people each week. So it's been a really good strategy for me.
That's my only team that was good. Except Love was decent early in the season, but my only team. This is sad to admit it. I have devoted more time to the podcasting because I've done a bunch of
Mm-hmm.
research because I've gotten really into this, and you know, it's going to continue, and I'm having fun with it. But all the promoting of it and stuff. But okay, I got three teams. I did a $5 league, and I'm really ticked off. I stashed Taylor. I don't want to get into the whole team, but I did stash Taylor and Cup, and unfortunately, I only got a few games of it each, so that kind of sucked. I can't remember my quarterback play in that league. I can't
Oh, you said
remember who
Love.
the quarterback was, but I was like 5-9. No, I had Love in the other league where I was like
Oh,
4-10. It was disappointing. Really, seriously, I'm kind of mad about it. But my $100 league, I'm the one seed. I'm 11-3, and in this one, I've had C.J. Stroud for the most part. He's been a really good quarterback play, and it's like even in a one team league, it's vital. And then I just did an interesting move. I've had Rashad White all year, but I just flipped because I had a with I got lucky this week, but Mostert with a chain coming back, or however you say the guy's name, he's
mm,
not as dominant as he was. So I made a move. I flipped Addison for actually I flipped. Let me see. I flipped Jalen Warren for Addison, then I reflipped Addison for James Cook, and that is paying off because they are using him. I also have CeeDee Lamb. It's a double flex. CeeDee Lamb and Devonta Smith, Lockett and Mostert. My only question mark right now is my tight end and if my quarterbacks are banged up. I've got Taysom Hill, and I picked up Tucker Kraft, who's starting to play, so get some run with Green Bay. He had a TD today. I think that's 2 weeks in a row. So I'm going to probably toss him in. My only question mark, I've got Stroud. Hopefully he comes back from that concussion, but he does play Cleveland next week. And I'm the one, and it's just one win, and then you're in the Super Bowl. Or I've got Gino, who's banged up, and I had to go make a move. He was the only guy on free agency. I had picked up Flacco just in case those other two don't play next week. It was a bye week, so I got lucky, kind of like you. But I'm concerned about next week because Cleveland's pass D, um, uh, at home can be pretty legit. I got to look and see
no,
if that game's at home or not. But yeah,
I also had tight end problems, and now I have like a plethora of tight ends. I picked up Pitts a while ago, but I also stashed Darren Waller on my IR. I don't know if he's available in your league. He's coming off of IR. I think he's playing next week, or is it? Yeah, next week I think.
no,
So
Waller actually played
today,
today.
did
Yeah,
he?
he
Yeah,
did
no,
play today, which
I'm
is
in the buy, so I'm kind of like I think I just let him ride in my IR spot. You can do that if you don't need
yeah.
to pick up a player. So he's just riding my IR spot. I didn't notice if he got untagged, but yeah, he might not be a. How'd he do?
Oh, let me look. And also, I'm noticing that it's on the stream. I'm noticing no one's. Let me try to fix this problem really quick. People are saying they
I'm gonna
can't
look up.
see it. Hold on,
Oh
I'm
no,
looking really quick. Did it
you
work?
do that while I look up Darren Waller's stats.
Yeah,
I
there you
want to
go.
I want to see how Darren Waller did today because
I
I feel
definitely got
I feel
some
like he's a
Pats
baller.
questions for you in a little bit,
You have some. You got some. Yeah, hit me with the
and
pads question.
we're definitely gonna we're definitely going to talk some Packers. I want to talk your division too. I've got some plans. Okay, hold on. Let
Oh,
me try to
he
get.
had 6 targets. He had 6 targets today, 4 catches, 40 yards, no touchdowns. Had a long of 29, so he had a big play. I don't know. That's a decent return, I would say.
Yeah,
Haven't played since
absolutely.
the end of October for Darren Waller, especially what would that if you were in a PPR league, 4 catches, 4 points, 40 yards, 4 points. That's eight. I don't know, 8 points out of your tight end. There really hasn't been an elite tight end fantasy wise. I mean, you have Kelsey,
No,
you know, Thomas over in Baltimore's hurt. They really Kittle hasn't really been the same. I don't know. Pitts, he thought top 5 pick could be a difference maker. Really isn't a difference maker. There really isn't a tight end out there. So if you get 8+ points out of your tight end, I think you have to take that and be, yep, all right. He didn't let me down. He didn't get zero, you know? That's
exactly.
really, I think that's like where your mindset needs to be if you don't have Travis Kelsey.
Oh, hold on. I had it. There we go. Okay, I fixed it. We were the only ones able to see the first 15 minutes, so basically it was like a recording. I fixed it.
Well, now we're all warmed up. We can give him the heat.
Yeah, give them the heat. We did a bunch of fantasy stuff that was I think everyone's gonna like.
Yeah, people will have to go back and watch the recording if they want that fire fantasy 2 QB league talk.
I had it saved to private. Go back. Okay. For some reason, I was wondering why no one was popping in because I've had people in every episode. So I'm going to refresh it really quick. And I think we're going to start getting some people in here in the comments because that's why I like going live. Getting people in the comments is what makes it fun. I'm going to share it to my feed. Come join us live. Okay, cool. There we go. That's my one plug. Okay. I actually am really enjoying the fantasy stuff. So we're going to continue it. But tell me your thoughts on the whole Zappy thing. I know you've got some questions. I'm throwing your question at you. Would you? So you obviously wouldn't. I'm guessing you wouldn't go Mac. I listened to your last episode. I've listened to a few of them. What'd you make of today? What'd you think?
I mean, I feel like they're at the point in the season where the play call and just the structure of the offense is completely different for the New England Patriots than it was earlier in the year when Mac Jones was leading the offense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they let Mac Jones throw the ball more than 5 yards downfield, and when he did, it looked disastrous. When Zappy gets the ball, they actually let him throw the ball downfield, and I don't know. He's been doing well that with the chances and the opportunities that he's given. I just don't think that he's a future starter in the league. Like I don't think that he's the guy that's going to lead the New England Patriots in the future. Um, I, I like what I see out of him for the end of this year. I think he's really auditioning for his role next year.
Yeah, I agree. You said something on your last show that was a tidbit that I really liked. And it's the same problem with the Packers, although I think we might have more talent, and we've got some people here, so hopefully they add some chat comments here. I'm trying to be cool because I'm very upset about the Packers, but we're on the Patriots right now. The Packers, I think, are lacking a number one receiver. Well, you guys, I hope you keep Hunter Henry and use him effectively, like I saw today, and they've been starting to give him some run. I liked what I saw from Hunter Henry today. It was nice because he's shown that potential before. But like you said, it's almost as if Bill Belichick didn't believe in Mac at all. Like, because I've watched a decent amount of Patriots this year, and it's like I don't believe in your your receivers. Like, I don't know
We
what the
have
plan
talent
there
there.
was.
I feel like we have talent there, and I said this 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I'm a firm believer in it. At the beginning of the season, Kraft sent out a letter to all of the season ticket holders saying we're going to have a better product, and you can believe in us this year. And they believed in this team, in the offensive product. What has happened to the offensive product as far as injuries? Like, what have they lost? They got Bourne lost to injury, but Bourne was like third or fourth on their depth chart coming into the year. So, like, if you lose your third or fourth wide receiver, it really shouldn't be a detriment to your offense. You got Parker
Sure.
was out a little bit, Juju's out today. So, like, here and there, they're out, but generally, they've had everyone that they've wanted and come into the season with. They got both of their tight ends, Jaceki and Hunter Henry. I don't know. That's a pretty good combo to me. They got
I
Stevenson,
yeah,
who's a really
I
great
I
running
like
back.
that
Ezekiel
plan.
Elliott backing him up. I mean, they had everyone that they wanted at the beginning of the season. They still have, and this is the offensive product they had. with their 15th overall selection in Mac Jones. So the fact that they were confident in it and this is what we got has been, I think, just a load of crap. And to say they don't have weapons, it's just they haven't performed. Juju Smith-Schuster
True.
is decent. I mean, Devontae
Is
Parker,
he
when he was in
hurt?
Miami, he's
Smith
did.
looks
Juju
like
was out
Smith
today. He
Schuster
was out today.
looks banged up.
I mean, he made some nice catches last. I mean, he's looked good, and I was kind of looking forward to the redemption game today, but he was out today, so we didn't get to see it. But Hunter Henry with 4 tutties in the past 2 games, looking like
Liking that.
Zappy's go-to guy. Yeah, I mean, I write an article each week on like what prop bets you should throw down and like what you might want to look forward to. And one of my picks was over 2.5 catches and a touchdown for Hunter Henry, and that hit today. So
That's a good
you know,
bet, man. I like that. I'm not a
yeah,
gambler, but I honestly would have gone that too. Even though I like KC's D, you knew that there was, you knew they were going to go to him.
it's his check down. It's a safety valve, and in the end zone,
Mm.
that's who he looks to. And I mean, to see him make those plays in the red zone is very encouraging. But you just hope that he's going to be doing that for the Patriots next year, and because you can't keep, you're not going to go into the Patriots aren't going to have Hunter Henry and Gesicki next year. So they're going to have
No,
to make a decision what they're going to do there. And like I said about Zappy, it might be the same thing for Hunter Henry. He might be auditioning for his next team and being effective down the stretch shows, hey, I can still do it. I can still ball. Like, you want me on your team. So it's going to be interesting to see if these guys are playing for a role on the Patriots or just auditioning for a role next year in general.
that's an interesting point. What would you? So I know you've got. I want you to hit your Pat's topics, but I got one more question for you. Because you're the Pat expert. It's sad. Okay, I've got 2 questions. I'm going to start with the easy one. What would you do with Belichick?
You got to kick him out of his GM role. He's the greatest head coach that's still coaching.
That's what I would do.
Keep him as the head coach.
See, that's what I would do. I wouldn't. Do you really want to lose him? Like, unless he's just lost the locker room,
He's
but
under
it seems like
contract.
huh?
He's under
Yeah.
contract.
Unless
Robert
they
Kraft's a
part
businessman.
ways. Unless they
Robert
part
Kraft's a
ways,
businessman. No,
he's going to
no,
trade
because
him.
part ways is you would have to trade him, right? Return on your investment. They're going to get a return on that investment. You're going to get a first round pick or a second. You're going to get some sort of return. But do you really think that they trade Bill Belichick, and have him break the all time record for wins on some other team? I mean, there's no way Robert Kraft lets that opportunity slide, in my opinion.
I've just heard so much speculation about it, like that they're thinking about, like there's rumors that it's going to happen. I still find it hard to believe, but there are teams like the Chargers, although frankly they do have talent. I don't love Herbert, though I'm not a big Herbert supporter. So, or the Raiders. There's gonna be other openings, but I kind of side with you. I don't think you can come back in with the GM role after all these misses that he's had, especially on the offensive side. I don't think so.
No, he can't draft. He doesn't assess. We
No,
did this last week. We talked about his assessments, in the top 100 in the NFL draft. He just can't draft in the top 100 really well. He's actually quite poor drafting in the top 100. He just gets so happy picking in like the 5th round, and like he's honestly not that bad picking in like the 100 to 250 range. He's got some great picks in that. Like, who cares, bro? Like, maybe that's what his
exactly.
role is the late round, like assessment of talent. It almost seems like we had
Bring him in for
Sarah
day
Marshall.
3. Just let
Yeah,
him come in for day 3, and don't even just kick him out of the building for day 1 and 2. And day 3, when it hits round 4 through 7, he can come in.
yeah. Give him PTO on the first couple of days. Give him some time
Yeah,
off.
he
Like, say, Bill,
yeah, Belichick needs a
relax,
break.
dude.
He's an old man.
Yeah,
He needs his
go to
vacation.
Nantucket, buddy. Figure it out. Uh, no, but last week's we had Sarah Marshall on, and Sarah Marshall made this point. It's almost like Bill knows who everyone else in the NFL wants to draft and who he likes, and is like, oh, you guys like them? I'm not gonna like them then. I'm gonna go like someone that you all don't know and don't like. Watch this, and it's like, stop trying to be so freaking cool, dude. Stop trying to be the man and find somebody like. Stop trying to do Edelman and Tom Brady all over again. Just pick good people that we all know. I was kind of happy with what he did last year with the Gonzalez pick. I didn't think we needed a cornerback. I wanted a wide receiver for Mac Jones going into the year. But hey, that's a good value, good pick. It was the right thing to do. So make more picks like that, and I'll be happy.
That one actually that was a slick pick. I like it. Okay,
Too bad he got hurt.
off of the podcast, I'm gonna have to ask you how you did your background later, because this is my background and it's glorious. But yeah,
Yeah.
okay. All right, man. Let's keep. You had some Pat stuff that you wanted to hit. Let's do that, and then I'm gonna because I've got Packer Frozen Tundra that's gonna probably hop on. Ooh, hold on. Hold on. Shots from the sideline. He's really cool. He's a Bears fan, and I did a show with him on Monday, and I might be having him on or going on his show again next week. He knows his stuff. Can
So,
you see? I don't know if you can see the chat, Pete. Can you see it?
yeah, do you want to read it off for the people who
Yeah, they have to draft more than defensive players and O linemen in the first round. Since Belichick has been there, four specialty players were drafted in the first round: Lawrence Maroney, Benjamin Watson, Neil Harry, and Mac Jones. They drafted a kicker and a punter before wideout in this past draft. Juju was an older version of Jacoby, and he's been banged up. Question for Pete. Good, I like this. If the Patriots, for whatever reason, does not go quarterback, should they go after receiver like? And I'm just going to be honest. I'm going to be starting it. I don't watch a ton of college, but I'm going to be doing because I do the pod now. I'm going to do a huge scouting thing before. I'm kind of excited. So should they go after receiver like Rome Adunze?
they should go after Marvin Harrison Jr. if they don't go after a
Oh my
quarterback.
gosh.
Yeah,
Washington, gotcha.
yeah, I mean, yes, they need to go after wide receiver, but do I trust? It depends who's drafting, right? Like as a fan, if you're asking me as a fan, like I don't want Bill Belichick drafting another N'Keal Harry in the first round when he's missing on supreme talent and he's going
Oh,
after N'Keal Harry.
you're not a
So I
Kill
don't,
Harry fan?
huh? Who is? Right? Like so they
Yeah,
can't miss. If they're gonna pick a wide receiver, it needs to be someone that's like just everyone agrees on, is gonna be able to come in and perform. And to be able to come in and perform in your rookie year, it really takes a high talent. Like Addison and Zay Flowers are some examples of rookies coming in. But I feel like if the Pats picked either one of them, they would have butchered either one of those rookie seasons. So do you really want them picking a wide receiver? I'd rather them go after a T. Higgins, make a trade for an upset Devontae Adams. I'd rather them do
that's what I
something like
want.
that. Bring in some,
I,
yeah.
I want the Packers to go after T. Higgins. It is not have to
Back
do with that
off. I want the
TD.
Pats to get him.
Do we want T. Higgins? I want T. Higgins, man. No, the Packers need a number one receiver bad. I like all these guys. I think they would fit in their roles better. We're going to break it down. I like Jaden Reed. I like Dubs. Watson's consistently hurt. I've got a full Packer. So we're going to get into it in a second. His name is Med from Shots from the Sideline. He says he agrees with Belichick getting out of the GM role. I love Marvin Harrison Jr. I think the Bears should take him number one. Like, I know it's hard to take a receiver one, but I would do it.
It depends what they're going to do with Fields, though, right? Like, did
What
they
would you do with Fields?
trade him to the Patriots?
Hey, I honestly think
I just say that kind of jokingly, just for the record, just for everyone's record. I don't necessarily know if, as a Pats fan, I want to see Fields, and I don't know if Belichick would ever really work with Fields as a mobile quarterback. But it all depends on what the Bears want to do at quarterback, right? With them kind of controlling the Panthers pick, not kind of, they are in control of the Panthers pick.
Yes, they are. Well, here's my thought. I think Harrison's the most talented guy. I think there's questions at quarterback, but I think we'll know more by April for sure. Because we're going to get so much more information from the bowl games and all the everything, the combine and all the pro days and all the analysis. We're going to get a ton of information that we don't have right now.
One piece of information, not to cut you off, though. One piece of information is Marvin Harrison even going to be in the draft? That's one piece of information that we actually need to wait to see.
I have talked. I didn't hit that in my college football special because we were doing the picks. But you're right. We don't know if he's going to come out. If he's gonna declare, he might go back. He really wants to beat Michigan.
He wants to.
So he's come out and said it. I want to beat Michigan.
And you like that out of a player too. You want to.
Yeah, I do.
That's tenacity.
Dude, this guy, doesn't he look like Jefferson came out? The reason the Packers tick me off because there's been so many receivers, and I know you feel this as a Pats fan too, because your receivers, they have talent, but they don't have a one. There have been so many guys that have come out in the first round, and they just pass them up, and you're just like, my team just really, it's purposeful at this point. They haven't picked a receiver in the first round since Javon Walker, and I think in 2002. It's deliberate. They don't want to do it. Not that they do hit on their second and third rounders, especially the second round receivers, but I want us to get a one, and I do want Higgins. I'm happy you said that because I want him, so I'm going to fight you for him. Don't
I'm
worry,
fine with it.
my team falls asleep when free agency starts. Day 4, our guy's out to lunch. He's on PTO. He's on vacation. Don't worry about it. He
I
doesn't
mean,
leave
Bill
Green Bay.
doesn't
He
like to
resigns his
spend
own
either.
guys. No,
Bill
he
doesn't
doesn't.
spend either. Bill doesn't. I mean,
No.
when Bill does spend it, he spends it like wrong. He spends it on like John Smith or something like that. So, uh, you know, not. I have like no faith in Bill the GM. That's why I'm really looking forward to maybe bringing in some talent or relinquishing some power, and maybe just more being like he's an influence. Like, hey, I think this. And he even like backed off on some of his roles, saying, "I don't have time to scout everyone." Well, if you don't have time to scout everyone, can you let someone else do the freaking job, man?
Med should come on, man. He was busy. Shots. I should just invite him on. If MHJ were not to come out, I would try to trade down. Too many teams need a quarterback. Carolina trade 2.0. Gosh, that Bears trade, that is the best thing that's happened to them in a long time. Even if Harrison doesn't come out. But it's a good point, man.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm scared. Like you're getting me a little scared here, saying trade down, especially as a Patriots fan, because when the Patriots trade down, we trade out of the first round and don't pick anybody, and then have like 17 fifth-round picks and have 4 offensive linemen and a punter. So, like, I really hope that we just do the right thing and pick someone in our spot that's of the quality of that spot. If we have the second, the third, the first, whatever pick number we have, pick someone there that's the second or third best person in the draft. Like, don't trade down unless you can get insane value. I understand you have to put everything through an assessment. They're like, well, what if we have the first pick and someone wants it and they're in the third spot and they want to give you next year's first two to move up 2 spots? Well, then you have to start considering it, right? Like, that's an insane value grab right there. So yeah, you have to consider trade offers, but I really just want them to pick a good player in the draft, especially with the top 3 talent. We're expecting a top 3 pick, and there should be 3 really good players in this draft. So get one of them, please. Hopefully, Marvin Harrison Jr. is in the draft.
He's tossing some good questions. Okay. So would you go, and then if you're cool with it, I wanted you to hit your Pats points and then we'll do some Pats recap.
Wherever it takes us, man.
Yeah, I'm having fun. This is my 4th show this week and I was a guest on a bunch, so I'm just having fun with it.
We can go
Would you go
agenda-free Sunday.
Honestly, I'm so mad about the Packers. I almost just don't want to talk them, but I have a little bit. Would you go Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, or Drake May? I don't
If
know.
you
I'm not
watch
sure.
the Foxborough Fellas podcast, you know I'm not like the college expert. And my co-host Marlon is the college expert, and what he's been saying to me is go bridge, get a veteran quarterback. Don't pick Caleb May. Sorry, Caleb Williams or Drake May. Caleb May. Don't pick Caleb May. Don't pick either of them. Don't pick Caleb or May. Is what
Don't
he's
pick
saying.
Caleb May.
Yeah, yeah. Don't pick Caleb Williams or Drake May is what he said. Go Cousins. And I'm like starting to come around to the idea that if those guys in the top 3 aren't the quarterback of the future, if that's what you ultimately your scouting team is saying to the draft, the person who has final say is drafting, then yeah, you do have to go get someone who can throw the ball. And like even looking at like Joe Flacco can throw the ball down the field. Like I don't want Joe Flacco. Don't get me wrong, but like someone who knows how to get the ball down the field and can like perform. Like Joe Flacco won a Super Bowl just managing the offense and not
And he went on a
screwing it
hot
up.
one. He went on a hot
Yeah.
streak, and Bolden did too. Bolden had a resurrection, and what they rode that defense.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a really good defense, and that's what the Patriots have. The Patriots have a top 10 defense. We can hold opponents, and if they had a offense that was scoring 17 points a game, they would be a decent football team this year. So
I actually
just
think
get
if
me
they
a
could land,
quarterback that can score a couple touchdowns a game is really all.
I agree. If they either could draft the guy or get a quarterback, get a weapon or two at receiver. Heck, if Stevenson's healthy and you can bring back Zeke in a complementary role, you guys might be a playoff team with that defense. If it was a legit quarterback, the AFC is in flux right now. KC needs a receiver. I don't see them as legit. Especially because sorry. I know you're a Pats fan, but they obviously are one of the worst teams in the league this year. Their defense, notwithstanding, their defense is legit. Still, it really is. And it was on a streak. The fact that they gave up, 26 points in 3 games, and they were 0-3 is stupid. And the Chargers just, wow. I couldn't believe they couldn't score on the Chargers. That game was just, yeah. Anyways, if they could just fix these offensive problems, man, I really think it's not that hard of a path to success. You've got a running game when he's healthy. If Stevenson could be healthy, like your situation isn't like as unfixable because you've got a defense, and if they do keep Belichick as coach, you can trust him to always have a solid D at worst.
Yeah, no, I mean our defense is never a concern. Like I said, top
No,
10 defense.
just
We
got to get an
had
offensive coordinator.
3 game stretch where we let up less than 10 points and lost all of them. Like I said, if we could just score 17 points a game, a couple touchdowns and a field goal. Give me a rushing touchdown, a passing touchdown, and a field goal, and we'll win a
Hey,
lot of football games. So I
you might
mean,
have a new
you just
you might have a new collaborator. Shots wants to collab and do a mock draft with us, man. Not to cut you
yeah,
off. He's excited about it.
let's do it.
Okay, all right. Let's do your Pats game first because I'm not excited about my team at all. Uh, tell me about the Pats game today, man. What happened?
I mean, Zappy looked decent. The run game was non-existent. One of the things that I thought you were going to see was Zeke
Me
Elliott
too.
with some fresh legs under him actually get some tread. He didn't. He didn't do well. I'm going to
No,
pull
he
up the
didn't.
stats right now, but you would think that he would have done
2.3.
much better.
2.3
Yeah,
yards per carry. 11 rushes,
yeah.
25 yards, man.
Yeah, no, that's trash. Kevin Harris looks good, and Kevin Harris is a guy that they drafted and really haven't given any play to at all. And he had defenders like slipping off him on that touchdown run. It was a very nice touchdown run. It kind of came in a meaningless point of the game, so you wonder how much the defense was invested in it. But um, yeah, I mean a 10-point loss to the Chiefs in a meaningless season. Yeah, I put a poll out there earlier this week. Like, do you want to, for Patriots fans, like, do you want to see them win because you like seeing the Patriots win, or do you want to see them lose because you like seeing them draft higher in the draft? And I've been consistent with this all year that I want to see them win every single game that they play. But if they lose, I certainly understand that that's awesome for the draft. Like I want, but that has been my consistent stance. I really can't be like, yeah, don't score this touchdown or miss. Like, there was one game where the kicker missed a field goal that would have like tied it or won it or one of the two, and everyone was like, "You understood the assignment. Like, miss that field goal, lose this game." And I'm like, yeah, there's a little bit of that. Like, I understand that aspect of it, and we are going to be in the top three as a result of some of these losses. But yeah, you want to see them win the game, but keeping it within 10 points. I think the line was at 8.5, so the Chiefs did cover their line and the over hit, which usually doesn't happen for a Patriots game. So points were scored. I like the fact that we're scoring 17. Like I said, we scored 17 today. You're going to win a lot of football games if you score 17 points. So keep doing that.
Yeah, and the Chiefs D is legit this year, man. I don't know if we got to talk about that, but they've been
Top six.
a top. They've been a top. They were sixth coming into the game, and that was after a couple of bad games. They've been
Yep.
legit. And honestly, what concerns me about the Chiefs, I don't know if you've watched a lot of Chiefs, but the receivers, because I used to have Valdez Scantling, so I've lived that life, and it's not a fun ride. It's not just him though. Rasheed Rice might pan out, but Kelsey's aging, and this kind of reminds me of when I used to watch Rodgers. At least he had Devontae Adams, so he had one target. That's kind of what the Chiefs are dealing with right now. Um, Noah Gray he's okay. Like, they just don't have anybody that's really scary. And with Pacheco out, what do you do?
I mean,
That's why
the
today was
Chiefs.
actually kind of interesting because they were still missing Pacheco, and they kind of started to figure it out. It looked like.
They didn't really run the ball that well. I think they
No,
missed
they didn't.
Pacheco in the run game, but the Patriots also are a good run defense. So I mean, you got to give
How's
credit
your
to the
pasty?
defense. And what's
How's
that?
your pasty this year?
We went through. I mean, like I said, Gonzalez got hurt. You brought back J.C. Jackson from the Chargers, who hasn't really done anything today. We started like a rookie over him. Pass fine. Like I said, I think it's the pass rush more so than the pass defense. That if you were to like assess some blame in the pass D, we really don't have without Judon. You really don't have anyone in anybody's face. Barmore has been really good this season for the Patriots. But Barmore is not like anything. He leads the team with like 5.5 sacks. It's just not the guy that's gonna like scare an opponent. So we really miss a pass rush, and that's what I've been calling for with the drafting and with the free agency. Is like get me some fast, aggressive linemen. We have like Lawrence Guy and Dietrich Wise, and those guys are fine, but they're just big and slow. They're almost like D tackles that play end, and so you need a little bit more speed off the end if you're really gonna rush and cause a problem for some of these quarterbacks.
It's funny. I used to see all these problems with the Packers. Yeah, I can understand that. Okay, let's. I want you to hit. Do you have any other Patriots topics you want to hit? We hit a
Now
lot
let's
of
my
draft
man.
stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if anyone in the comments has anything for me Pats wise, but other than that, I mean, we're really not so much focused on the micro game. We're more focused on like the macro. Where are we
Kind
going
of
to
bummed.
draft? What are we going to do next season? What's the off season look like?
So I don't know if you know Packers players, but I'd like to give Love. He's got another year, and I'm going to be curious what they're going to do with his contract. His completion percentage hasn't been great. I've seen wildly up and down play, not only from him but from the whole team. But we've got a running back problem. I don't really love Dylan. He's okay. Um,
Whoa,
and Jones
whoa,
is
whoa!
20.
Boston College fan over
I'm
here. We can't
sorry.
say about
He's a
AJ
good
Dillon.
he's a good complementary running back. I don't see him as an RB1 like in especially in fantasy or
No,
um he's just not. He's
no,
better.
he suits Jones well though, right? Right, like he
Yes.
when they're
Yes, when
both
they're
in the
healthy.
game together, they suit each other very well, and that
Yes.
and he was out today, right? I asked you before we got on, where was AJ Dillon, and he was hurt today or
The
something.
problem
So,
is Jones
it,
is Jones has missed so many games this year. Oh, cool. We got
yeah,
Chris
both of
B.
them.
We got shots and we got Chris B. Um I did a entertainment podcast with him yesterday. He's in the chat too, so we got a couple people here. Nice. Um, Packers need some defense as well. Yeah, they do. We're gonna touch that, Chris, for sure. The offseason will be interesting. Okay, here's the thing. I do like Dylan, but he's gonna be a free agent, I believe, after the season. And Jones has been really injury prone. He's also a free agent. I don't know if they're gonna be able to bring both back, or if they're
Do you want
gonna
both
wanna
back?
bring both back. Huh?
You do want both back? Injury prone Jones
No, I
and
don't. I
AJ
don't.
Dillon, who
I'd
can't
almost
crack
be
the RB
open
one.
to. I'd almost just be open to either signing a free agent or drafting a couple new guys. I'm gonna be. It's sad to say that I love Aaron Jones. If he was open to a restructure or a cheap deal, Dylan. I'm sorry, man. I know you're a BC guy, but he. If we would have to bring in somebody like Jones, but when he's healthy, he's special. He's been a Pro Bowler. He's been dominant when he's healthy in the past, but he's been really injury prone the last couple seasons. So I'd actually be. I think unless it's a really cheap deal, I think I'd be more open to letting Jones go. And Dylan, it'd have to be pretty cheap. I wouldn't be signing him over 5 mil a year. I would just wouldn't. I wouldn't. He hasn't produced at that, not all season. And then at receiver, my concern is so here's my problem at receiver. I like some of the young guys, but we don't have a one. Like today, Wicks, uh, I think he's a seventh rounder, was our best receiver today with 97 yards. We just don't have that wasn't bad today, actually, but they were missing some corners. We haven't Watson's been so injury prone. I do like Jaden Reed. If there's a one on the roster, it's probably him. But I'm sorry, man. If you guys get him, good for you. If we were to get a T Higgins, I think all these guys would fall in line because they've all been injury prone, and I think our receiving rotation would work so much better.
Yeah, I mean, adding a wide receiver for a quarterback is going to boost them, and I think that's it's kind of like when you if you have a quarterback problem, because I don't know if you have a quarterback problem. Jordan Love is fine. Maybe you have a wide receiver problem, and adding
I
someone
think.
to the mix, I think, will certainly help it. And adding like an effective run game always helps the pass
Oh, I
with the play
know.
action. So sometimes when you're like, why isn't the pass working when it seems like it should? It's because the run isn't working, and they're allowed to, they don't need a bite on play action, and they don't need to stack the box. So sometimes you need to address other parts of the game to allow the pass to work. So yeah,
Yeah,
I
good
think
breakdown, man. Yeah,
the offseason is going to be interesting for both, the Packers and the Patriots in that way of, what's clogging up your team and what can they assess and what can they do differently.
the biggest concern for me, I don't know if you feel like you need an OC change. I don't know if that's where you're leaning. I honestly am over this defensive coordinator unless they had a massive influx like change at talent. I'd rather see them replace the coordinator. Now, I don't know if you feel this way with your team. Like Judon is special, but except for maybe Gary, when I look at our defense, I do like Alexander, but he's been extremely injury prone of the last year. I just don't know if he's going to come back at 100%. I If we were going to become a contender again, I think we've got to find that difference maker. Every team, it's either they've got it's usually a pass rusher now. It seems like, or ridiculously, just an awesome shutdown corner. I like Alexander and Gary. They have talent for sure, but neither of them are top, like, for being honest, top five guys at the position. Alexander has flashed that in the past, but he's not healthy. I would love to see them go out and spend some money. And when they do spend money, the Packers spend money on defense. And if they restructure Bakhtiari, their left tackle might be available for you. But they need to restructure him, and they're going to have a decision to make on Jones and Dillon on offense. But on defense, Preston Smith, unfortunately, is under contract for 3 more years, but he might have been a restructure option too. So, lots of questions. Hey, we got 4 people.
There's a sports announcer in Boston. There's very famous Felger and Maz, and Felger and Maz, they always use this analogy, and I think it kind of fits what you're talking about here is horses versus ponies. You need to have horses on your team. You can't have a team full of ponies. They don't win in the NFL. When I say horses, is like you're saying Judon's a horse.
Yep.
Everyone else on the team is pretty much a pony, right? Like there's no guy that's this guy just looks different. When you watch the game, if you didn't know football or you knew football decent and you watch the Patriots when Judon's playing, you're like, who's that guy with the red sleeves? He's a beast. He just stands out. He's a horse, right? Mm-hmm. And you can think of those players on offense and defense who are just clearly horses and not ponies. And that's what I think, is what you're talking about and exactly what the Patriots need. We need horses on our teams. We have too many ponies. I'm looking at your defensive stacks and yeah, Gary seems to be he's got 9 sacks.
Yeah, and 3 of them were in one game.
Yeah, nobody's picking the ball off. There's no interceptions. You need a horse. You need to throw a horse on the defense. Honestly, anywhere. If you throw a horse on the line, at linebacker, at corner, at safety, just throw a horse on the team. Let somebody go disrupt something on defense.
Absolutely. I mean, the Packers' last 2 Super Bowls they won, they had ponies. They may have even had some other horses, but they had a horse in Brett Favre, and they went out and got a horse in Reggie White. And then they had a horse in Aaron Rodgers, and they went out and got a horse in Charles Woodson. Boom, Super Bowl. It's not rocket science. You got to go and get him. And Woodson was still a horse and was ridiculous. Even at age like 34, he won Defensive Player of the Year. He was awesome. Charles Woodson. But the Packers may have that horse in love. I haven't seen enough yet. I don't see another horse on offense, unfortunately. Jones is going to age out by the time he's already probably almost there. He's pretty injury prone. He was almost a horse for a minute, but they haven't had a horse since they lost Adams. And unless they're going to go back and get him, which I don't think is going to happen, even though I think he could leave the Raiders. Heck, I could see him in New England. That would be special, man. Even at his age, if they got the right quarterback, that would be a heck of. And I keep it clean just because I'm a teacher, so I would say other words. That was
who could you see on the Patriots?
If Bill spent money, Devontae, I could see that being fun if they had a quarterback. I just weirdly could see it. I don't know why, but I don't know if Bill's willing to spend that money. He typically isn't, but he's gone out and spent some money recently. Yeah, but I just think he might want out. It might be a trade situation.
I think he wants out. No, I listed him earlier in this show. I said that he would be a good trade candidate for the Patriots.
I like
because I think he wants out in Oakland. I think he would fit well with this team. He definitely would like to link up. The veterans like Bill Belichick because they know. Like this offseason, we almost got DeAndre Hopkins. Like the veterans know Bill Belichick. Right. Like they know Bill Belichick. They want to play. They understand what it means to come here and try to win a Super Bowl. I just don't know if we're gonna come here and try to win a Super Bowl next year is really fathomable unless they sell we're getting a quarterback and you're gonna be the wide receiver that pairs up with him. We got Stevenson, a top 10B. Let's ride. And that could sell. So that could be a selling point.
That actually could be a selling point. That could be a selling point, actually. Like, it'd be a big turnaround, but if they scored the quarterback first and then scored the receiver, gave up draft capital, or landed it in the draft if Marvin Harrison comes out. Now, it's hard to sell it with a rookie, but I think this guy's going to be special if he does come out. But if they're able to get him, it depends on where they're at in the draft in a few weeks, but they're going to be possibly in play for them. Packers are a stupid team, unfortunately. They're probably not going to make the playoffs, and they're not going to get a top 10 pick. So I'm ticked. It's like
the Celtics with Paul Pierce. They are good enough to flirt with the playoffs, but they never really could do any damage in the playoffs. And you're like, might as well get a good draft pick. Nope, we're going to be good enough to not get a good draft pick. It's a horrible spot to be in.
I love that you toss some NBA in because I've been debating if I want to rebrand the show because I absolutely love basketball and toss them in. And I'm happy to throw a Paul Pierce reference in. That was fun. And it's funny because I don't even have a specific team. You're gonna hate me for this because you're gonna hate me. I like the Lakers, but I'm not like a diehard anybody. I'm just Packers, and with the NBA, I just follow all the players. I just have been so into this. I was like, I don't want to. I don't know if I want to start a second podcast. I almost did it, but this has been so time consuming. I haven't done it yet. So I'm debating doing that after the season ends, but my wife is gonna probably go nuts.
You can just do all the sports each season.
Yeah, I
You
thought
know,
about making it the fun sports podcast. That
yeah,
was what the
that'd be
FSP.
fun.
Yeah, that would be fun. Dude, I
I'm
appreciate
here
you
all
doing
night,
this with me,
folks.
man. um, okay. I've got a lot of Cowboys fans, and I know you follow the Bills. We gotta chat because everyone missed the first 15 minutes, unless. But the cool thing is, these are getting a lot of views in replay. Like 50 to 60 people see it for a second during, but they've been getting over 200 hits on Facebook, so people are gonna watch it later. But let's talk
That's what's up.
Cowboys because this is gonna be fun. What'd you make it today?
I mean, leave it to the Cowboys to absolutely choke in a big game, right? Like, isn't that like when you when you look up Cowboys in the dictionary, don't you see like somebody like choking on something? Like, I feel like that's exactly what you see or what you think about the Cowboys. So it doesn't completely surprise me. Although I gotta say, it's not what I predicted for the game. Like, I didn't think
I
but
picked
going into
Dallas.
the
I'm
game, I
so
had the
mad.
Cowboys. Yeah,
I picked Dallas. So me and my buddy are in a weekly pick 'em. I didn't really hit this earlier. We're in a weekly pick 'em, and this show has really helped because before this stupid week, and I don't even want to look at how many we missed. We might be 500 on the week. We are out of 168. We were tied for 15th, and top 15 make money. We've won 2 weeks. It was only like $100, but it's money a little bit. And this stupid week, I missed on Green Bay. I missed on freaking Detroit against. I just thought Detroit was broken. I thought Denver had a chance, and it was such a mistake. I did get that
that's a hoop.
Cincinnati game right. Thankfully, Browning keeps saving me. I almost picked him up. Um, he wasn't available this week, but I should have snagged him last week. That might have been a good play. But stupid Packers, man. And then I went Dallas, and I legitimately thought they were going to rise up for this game and break this road thing because all four of their losses have been on the road, and they just play better at home. And they're a stupid team that has the talent, especially this year, to make a Super Bowl run, but they don't take road games seriously. And now they're going to be on the road for the playoffs. And good freaking luck going into Philly and then San Fran and winning, especially San Fran. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean they did smoke Philly the week before, so like they have
Yeah,
confidence against Philly. So you might be
Mike
able to
made the
count that on a
confidence.
plus side for the Cowboys. But I mean, talk about it's really was it the Cowboys or was it James Cook or was it the Cowboys defense not being able to stop a James Cook? James Cook 25 for 179 and a touchdown, and then a couple of catches out of the backfield for 42 yards,
Oh,
plus enough.
he's man. I almost wish I'd played this week because Cook would have been amazing. Now, I'm
Cook
missing
went
CJ
off.
Stroud, but yeah, Cook just they're figured it out, man. They're letting Cook cook. It's been working. But Dak had his worst game of the season. I don't know what his stats were in that stupid San Fran game. I don't see them competing with San Fran at all. Like San Fran, even their three losses were competitive because they're the best team in football, at least my opinion. But I think it's
My Super Bowl pick.
they're pretty definitively the best team right now. Dallas has gotten completely destroyed 3 times on the road this season now, and one of them was to Arizona, and that's a worrying trend if you're a Cowboys fan. And I think that they know deep down in their stomachs that it's not happening this year. Like you can't just roll over on the road like this. It's just
I
it's
don't think I don't
it's
think the Cowboys deep
terrible.
down know it's not happening. I think the Cowboys fans might be like, yeah, no, it's still happening. This is a fluke. I don't think Cowboys fans think that it's not happening. I think that CD Lamb is having a year, and he only had 7 for 53
he's a
today.
horse.
He's a
They
horse.
do have a horse. Dak
That's the
has played like
horse.
a horse. They got a horse in CD. They probably got a horse in Dak. He didn't play like it today, but they got a horse in CD, and they got a horse in Parsons and Bland. While you can torch him, he's played. I mean, he's broken an NFL record, 6 return touchdowns. Even in today's NFL, that's stupid. Like they have
Like
horses.
I,
Their
I have
horses
I have
didn't show
thoughts
up
on.
today.
Yeah, no, the horses were in the stable, but like I feel like for the like the kick returns and like I don't know. In playoff games, you kick it out of bounds. You just eliminate things like that. Those those good returns are against like got to be against crap teams who accidentally kicked it to them or a stupid punter. Like you don't like when Devin Hester ran the league when the Patriots played him. I just
Oh
laughed. I
man,
was like,
Devin Hester was special. Dante
Devin
Hall,
Hester was special, but I don't know
special.
when the Patriots would play him. And credit to Bill and his special
Belichick's
teams.
smart. He's like,
He
no.
would just punt it out of bounds. And Devin Hester, I never got to see Devin Hester play because Devin Hester never played against the Patriots because the Patriots never let Devin Hester ever
And
play.
Pate and
We'd kick
Belichick
it like
took away the
we'd
one.
pooch kick it to like the 10-yard line and make him field it off the ground, and we'd tackle him at the 25. It's like fine, give him 5 extra yards because at that point you'd take it out to the 20, not the 25. But it's like fine, whatever. Let him have 5 extra yards on every single drive to not let Devin Hester smoke you. So it's just like figure it out type of football when it comes to special teams. But you're right about the Cowboys. They have horses on their team, and I think that
They
they
do.
could make a legitimate run.
And the other thing I like about Belichick, we'll go back to the Patriots for a second, but I just love the way, even still now, he can do this. But he was when they had one of the best D's, his ability to take away your best weapon and sometimes your second best weapon and make you, especially like what he did to Goff in that Super Bowl, that was just mastery. That's why I don't think I'd let him go, but you got to fire him from the GM role. Now, the problem is, I don't know if Belichick's going to go for that, and that's where a trade might happen. He might get ticked about the GM thing and want out to another team, possibly, maybe. That's the one thing I'd be worried about with Belichick.
You got to think about it too. Like you got to take into human consideration. I think a lot of people think of this as like a video game or something. Bill Belichick's like a human still, and Robert Kraft's a human, and that's been his boss for like a really long time. And I don't know if you've ever like I've never worked somewhere for 20 something years or whatever.
2 years is my teaching's been a rough career. I was an aide for one school at almost 4 years. I ran my dad's business for a long time, but though this is the longest job I've actually had in teaching, it's only been 2 years because teaching in Texas is just this is not a good school.
Imagine working there for a decade plus, almost like how Bill's worked for the
24
Patriots.
years.
That's what I'm saying. So like you don't just have a bad year and then this is the second point of why they're not going to go on from Bill is the fact that any coach that comes in that goes, all right, so you want me to coach the New England Patriots and what's my leash? It's like, well, you just fired Hall of Fame Bill Belichick after a Cam Newton year and 3 bad Mac years. That's 4 years. So if you tell a new coach you have less than 4 years, because if you only gave Bill 4, you're giving whoever comes in next less than 4 because Bill's the best, right? So you're basically saying to any new coach, you got less than 4 years to completely turn this around. Go. Who's going to take that job? So a little bit of it is
that's kind of the NFL now.
Replace Bill Belichick with a less than 4 year leash with crap at wide receiver. I mean, crap at wide receiver, but crap at quarterback. So I think you're going to see Bill coaching the Patriots. I really think a lot of people spend a lot of time on who's going to coach the Patriots, but it's going to be Bill Belichick. It's what kind of role does he have coaching the Patriots? Does he get to go shopping and cook the groceries, or does he just do the cooking and someone else goes shopping for him?
Good analogy. I like it. Good breakdown, man. Seriously. The problem with the NFL today. The problem with the
not taking credit for that analogy, by the way, because Bill Parcells, that's his famous quote is, I don't go grocery shopping. I only cook what you give me. And he was basically complaining about his roster one year. So I can't take complete credit for that analogy.
That's fair. Wife's calling. I'm telling her I'm almost done.
No, so the comment here says Brady made Belichick great. He struggled in Cleveland. So Belichick struggled in Cleveland. And when he had Bledsoe, they had a losing record at that point. I mean, Bill did win with Cleveland, and he's got Super Bowls on a team other than the New England Patriots. So, I mean, Bill has worked with Lawrence Taylor and the New York Giants. Like, Bill is a winner. Bill has success where he goes. But Brady did make him great. Like, name me
Brady did help.
Yeah, they're a great team.
He helped.
Yeah, like name me a good quarterback that wins a lot. They didn't have like a really good coach with them. They work together really well. It's quite obvious Brady's great. He went to Tampa and won a Super Bowl. So we're not taking anything away, but they're both really good. And to say one of them isn't because the other one is ridiculous.
No, sometimes you can win in spite of your coach. Like, I'm not a huge McCarthy fan, but he was doing all right with the Packers when he won that Super Bowl. And they had Holmgren for that 90s Super Bowl. And they had, Vince Lombardi, if it's not Belichick, he's one of the greatest coaches of all time. So,
The
you know,
trophy's named after him.
yeah, the trophy's named after him. They won what 5 championships in the stupid short amount of time, less than a decade. Just ridiculous. Less competition then, but still to be able to do that is just stupid, especially with football. But um, I think it was obviously a team thing, man. Like it wasn't just Brady. Now the problem for a coach is if you don't have a great quarterback or even a solid one, it's tough to pull it off. Like you got to have an all-time great kind of defense to usually, and you still have to get solid quarterback play. Like everyone
Nowadays.
thinks like Trent Dilfer with the Bucks, or what's another good example? I mean, you brought up the Joe Flacco one earlier. He still went on a run. If you watch that playoff run, he had a hot streak. They didn't win despite him. He had to contribute to it. Uh, it's really tough to pull it off without that all-time great D. Like even the Patriots last championship with the against the Rams, they had Brady. Wasn't that the MVP season too?
I mean, even in 2001, to start the whole championship run was on
Yeah.
the back of the defense. The quarterback Brady, I mean, led them down for the field goal at the final end, but they hadn't really scored a whole lot of points. They scored, I think it was 24-21 or something like that. So like they hadn't scored a
Exactly.
lot of points. Brady was more managing and keeping them in the game and keeping them confident, and a lot of that had to do with Bill and his leadership and the defense. So I think it's just football's a team game, man. There's three phases to it, and the quarterback runs one of the major phases, but the coach runs all three phases. So you got to spread out the credit.
I have a mock draft guy I talked to on Twitter. I'm going to send you his handle after we're off in a little bit. And I
Mm-hmm.
think we should do this mock draft thing with Shots because he knows his stuff too. Maybe me, you, and Shots do a show on here soon. I think it'd be a lot of fun. I got a couple more things.
All right.
I do a fun segment if you're game for it. I do this with my other guy. His name's Bill. That we do. We just do top five. Me and Shots did one from each conference, which was fun. What I think we both would probably agree, San Fran, we talked about is the best team. Who do you think is after this Dallas game? Who do you think is number two right now in the NFL?
Hmm.
Tough
That's
question. It's been a tough year, seriously.
Yeah, I mean, the Cowboys were in consideration for a while there, but I think I don't know. That's a really good question.
I know. Is it
Ravens,
Baltimore? That's what
Ravens.
I'm
I
thinking.
think you have to go Ravens. You
I
could
don't trust
consider the
Miami.
Eagles.
Philly,
I
yeah,
really
they've
like
been
Miami, but
in Dallas now. Matt said.
yeah, it ain't Dallas now, right? Yeah, obviously. But Dolphins without Hill, they don't look as good, right? It's almost like maybe it isn't Tua, maybe it's more Hill, and maybe it wasn't, Mahomes losing Hill, like, and Mahomes is struggling. Maybe Hill just makes your quarterback really, really good, and that's why Dolphins are really good. And I want to see how he comes back from this injury before I start touting Miami. I really, at the beginning of the season, I like them. I liked them throughout. I like them now. I really like the Ravens. I really like
I
Zay
agree.
Flowers. I think
I
Lamar
agree.
Jackson is
They're my
good. I
two.
think they have the coaching. They got the defense. They got a running game. I mean, they got
Now,
horses on their team, and they got good ponies.
in the playoffs, though, I'm still concerned about Lamar. He is not shown up in the playoffs, and this would be the year to do it. But right now, this is a right now thing. I think it's got to be Baltimore. Um, my problem with Miami. Here's my problem with Miami, man. Miami has not beaten anybody good. It was the Dallas effect, but they've gotten kind of destroyed and dismantled, and they've just kind of ran it up on bad teams. Now they clearly have offensive talent, and Ramsey coming back, even though they lost Phillips, Ramsey coming back has transformed their D and it's been better. But I don't quite take them. They might make crack my top five, but I don't take them seriously as the cream of the crop in the AFC. I just can't. And you nailed the Baltimore tonight, Chris. We were going to preview it actually, even though it's already started. We were going to do a quick little preview. I got to see more from Miami, and I think you nailed it, Tyreek. I think Hill makes Tua a little bit more than Tua makes Tyreek. Obviously, I think that's pretty clear at
Well,
this point.
and last week with the Titans, what they did to Miami, that comeback win. So I mean,
That
you
one
really
burned
have
me on my picks too. That was so mad.
you really have to like consider that when it comes to the playoffs, because
Mhm.
looking at evaluating a team against a trash opponent is you kind of have to throw them out. Like I used to do a Boston College podcast, and they used to divide the like a basketball record versus in conference versus out of conference, right? Like basically what that was telling the person looking at the standings is, hey, they played trash teams in those out of conference games, so throw them out. The games against good opponents, here's how they did. And that's what I like to look at with good teams too. Like it doesn't
Hmm.
matter what you did against the trash opponents unless you lost, right? You expect to win and clean up those opponents. What did you do against the good opponents? What did it do when it was like, when you had to put something on the line, when you were shaking, when your heart was beating? Like, how'd you do then? And I don't think Miami necessarily has it. And I think the Ravens have been there before, so they understand what it's going to feel like when it's time to play. And there's not one team that's like been there, done that, cleaning them up. The Chiefs are kind of the team that comes to mind, like been there, done that. But they're not a great team this year. They're not like threatening or scaring anyone. So there's no
Hmm.
team that's been there, done that. So it's up for grabs, in my opinion. But I really like the Ravens. ESPN bet came out a while ago, and they said you get four $50 free bets, and I threw one of them on the 49ers. 49ers are my pick. 49ers, I think, are the
Oh yeah,
team.
I've
Yeah,
got
I
San
mean,
Fran,
like,
Baltimore too.
yeah,
Who's
yeah, it's San
three?
Fran, right?
Who's three right now? Like, is it Dallas? They're kind of like Miami. Yes, they did destroy Philly, but that was like their championship. And on the
Why
road,
not Philly?
you can't trust them. Billy's been a little broken recently. I still think
They got
I think I'd
experience
lean
though.
I think I'd lean Dallas personally, just because of what I just saw. But if it was on the road, are you picking Dallas to beat Philly in the playoffs? I mean, like they're going to go in with confidence. They played them tough. They played them twice. They lost early in the season. They almost made a comeback. So and then they shellacked them at home.
Smoked them.
I would lean Dallas based on what I saw from the two, samples of data that I've got. Just
I
barely
might,
though.
yeah, like you said, just barely though, right? Like
Just barely. I think it's
it could be
Dallas
a
and Philly.
toss-in game. But Dallas has so much experience choking, and Eagles have so much experience being tough. So you kind of have to like that in a playoff game too. So I think I it
That's
would
a
be
good
a
point.
toss up between Eagles Cowboys, but I think in a playoff game I would
Yeah.
rather ride with the Eagles than ride with the Cowboys.
You know, I think you talked me into it. I think I'll go Philly 3 and then Dallas 4. But I think right now, based on just not this week, I like the way Dallas has been playing. But you nailed it. And my only concern with Philly this year is defensively, they just don't look the same at all. Like they are exploitable in the pass game, and I'm a little concerned. We can, if you're cool, that we can do it right now. I'm a little concerned about tomorrow night. Um, Ooh. Med wants to know our MVP candidates, and you know what? If you're cool with it, we'll end with that in a minute, okay?
Yep.
Um, I am a little concerned about Philly if Gino plays with Darius Slay out. Slay's going to be out for tomorrow's game, but Dallas now needs Philly to lose 2 games because they crapped the bed today. So I'll go Philly. So Seth, what was your top 5? You had San Fran, Baltimore, Philly, Dallas, or was it Dallas 4?
Dallas has got to be 4.
Who
And
is
then the fifth.
5?
Hmm,
Not Detroit, I don't think. Uh,
I'm trying to think of like who the teams
KC or
are.
Miami.
Maybe Miami.
Honestly, I actually like Buffalo's ceiling, but they're such a wildly up and down team, and on the road
No,
they're even worse than Dallas. It can't be them.
no,
Even though I
no.
think they're a tough
Buffalo.
out, it can't be them. You see them more
No,
than I do.
Buffalo's out.
No.
Buffalo's
Yeah.
no can't be the team. Patriots beat the Buffalo Bills. Can't be the Buffalo Bills.
Oh man, I like it. Um, I'll go. Okay, so my top 5. I'll go San Fran, Baltimore. Yeah, you talked me into it. I'm really concerned about them though. I'll go Philly, Dallas, and then I'm gonna go. This is so hard. I don't even. I don't know if there is a fifth team.
That's why I reluctantly picked the Dolphins. Like if you're gonna make me Tua and Hill,
I'm
they
gonna pick
they
KC.
go
I
on a
think KC.
streaker.
I think KC would
Okay,
beat Miami in the playoffs. I'll go KC. I don't love
that's
them
not a
though.
bad one.
Their offense isn't.
Yeah,
It's only because of Mahomes, Kelsey, if Pacheco's healthy, and that D. But that's tough. Like there's not a lot of great teams this year, and the quarterback play and injuries have been just dismal. Med
yep.
wants to know shots. He wants to know our MVP candidates. I'm gonna pull up the favorites, but I'm telling you right now, it's not Tua.
So I put my other $50 ESPN bet of the 4. I think I used 2 of them foolishly, but the 2 that I put on futures, the other one I put on was Tyreek Hill. And I don't
Good
necessarily
pick.
know if he's gonna win the MVP, but it's almost like a bet on is he gonna get 2,000 yards? If Tyreek Hill gets 2,000 yards, he should win MVP. The last non-quarterback to win MVP, Adrian Peterson. How many yards did he get? 2,000. So you need to get 2,000 yards as a non-quarterback to get MVP. And Tyreek Hill could very well. He sat out today. That's a huge setback, being injured last week and coming back and not really getting much. A huge setback. He's going to need to absolutely go off to finish the season. But if he does, he could win MVP. Other than that, you're looking at the quarterback fest the quarterback award that it is every other year. We were talking about the Cowboys. Dak Prescott's having a year. Dak Prescott could be MVP. Brock Purdy, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts. You just name the best quarterbacks in the league, and it's a toss-up. Honestly, it ruins the question because it's just the
I know.
quarterback award. I
It
wish it
shouldn't
was
just
the
be a
actual best
quarterback.
player award.
I agree. I would have picked Tyreek. Actually, before this stupid game, I had Dak and Tyreek as a co-MVPs only because Dak's leading the league in touchdowns and Dallas has been rolling. And I know they're going to throw a quarterback in there, but I just think Tyreek deserves it. Like, I
McCaffrey,
hate that I just hate that it's a quarterback thing. McCaffrey, too. I like McCaffrey a lot.
great season.
You know what's funny? With San Fran, it would be McCaffrey, but Debo, to me, like, McCaffrey transformed that team. But when they lost their 3 games this year, they had left tackle out and Debo's just been an animal. But they've got that team has so many horses on both sides. It's stupid. Yeah, man, that's a good point. He likes C-Mac, and then Chris said in the chat he thinks Baltimore tonight. I completely agree.
Yep.
I think Baltimore
Over
beats
the
Jacksonville.
Jags. Yeah.
You going Jags?
Jags are a good team, though. Talking about
They
power
are.
rankings, like Jags could surprise if they beat the
They
Ravens
could.
today. The Jags move up from 9-8 position to like the a couple spots up that power ranking list, in my opinion. So that could be
I
an
agree.
interesting game. But I'm all in on the Ravens winning that.
I'm gonna go MVP. This is so hard. I think Purdy will win it. I think
Probably.
that Tyreek Hill or I like McCaffrey a lot. I think Dak can't have games like today, so he's out for me. Sorry, you have to show up every given Sunday, and he's had a couple games. He just completely, I think 3 now on the road where he just hasn't shown up.
Fair.
Sleeper quarterback option would be Lamar for me. I think if they have the 1 seed in the AFC, they'll be a contender. But non-quarterback options, I really like Tyreek and then C-Mac in that order, though. That'd be me.
Yep.
Quarterbacks, I think it's going to be Purdy or Jackson, probably. I don't think Hurts the way they've kind of crapped the bed. I think Allen's out and Mahomes, they've been too up and down, so I don't see it happening. And I think Tua, I think the Tyreek thing is hurting his case significantly right now. So
You saw Trevor Lawrence on the list too. Again, you'd have to have a really strong end of the season to have a chance at that. But that just shows you how much of a quarterback award it is. The fact that we're considering just pick the top 10 quarterbacks, make sure they're in the conversation, and then you need to be phenomenal at any other position to get into the conversation.
They should just make a quarterback of the year award, and then have. They would never do this, but have MVP be different. And I actually think it'd be fun if they had a kicker of the year award. I think that'd be a fun award. I think they should.
I think they do award the best player at every position, and kicker is a position. So I mean,
they actually do at the NFL awards. Interesting.
I don't think, like this offensive player of the year, defensive player of the year.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, they do all PY. Yeah.
I mean, I guess if you go to the Pro Bowl, that's like being the best kicker. Like you're representing your division as the best kicker. So like it kind of in a way, but I agree. The MVP award should be changed to best player in the league award. Like not most valuable. Get rid of this ambiguous title to the like everyone's like most valuable. So you helped me win a lot. So you're the most valuable. Like get rid of this argument about what the award even means. It's kind of like when we had to decide what a catch was in the NFL. Like, are you kidding me? Like make it really clear. Like best freaking player award. The dude that smoked everyone the most, the guy that everyone wants on their team the most.
Well,
make it really easy for us to decide what this award is. It's so hard to decide what this award is.
Well, there's 2 trades. You nailed it. There's 2 trades last year in the middle of the year that changed their teams. Baltimore went out and got Roquan Smith. Genius trade. Their defense transformed their defense, and their team was better. And then the 49ers, and this is why Purdy, I like him. He's a good quarterback. He's a massive upgrade over what they had. But when they got McCaffrey, they have been, when healthy, unstoppable. It's got to be McCaffrey. I'm sorry. You've got the data. Like, it's McCaffrey. And the fact that he's behind Purdy in the odds, and I honestly think if I'm just listing San Fran guys, I would have McCaffrey, I'd have Debo, and then I'd have Purdy as my MVPs from that team. Seriously, in that order.
Like who's replaceable, but you're getting into like who's replaceable and who helps who and who's launched who and well, since they didn't have C-Mac last year and they do this year and they're way better this year than last year, it must be him as just get rid of all that. Who's got the most yards, the most touchdowns? Who's done the best? Who's put the
And
most
it's
people on a highlight reel? Like, just who's the best player? And C-Mac just looks like one of the best players in the league, and he's way better than Trevor Lawrence. Like, the fact that he's behind him on the most valuable to the team
Trevor
is
Lawrence.
kind of silly to me.
I love it. Trevor Lawrence. Like, come on, man. Are you serious? I'm looking. I've just got to
Great
know
hair,
just for.
great hair,
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
valuable
But not
haircut.
a
Okay,
great. Not. I had to cut him in fantasy, man. He just was. Oh, that's why I had him in one of my leagues. I had Trevor Lawrence, and he was. I actually ended up just dropping him. He just wasn't worth
coming
it.
into the year, you think that's going to be fine?
So let me hold on. I'm pulling up. I'm just looking at San Fran really quick. Okay.
What do
Come
we got?
on, just give me San Fran stats. Just give me San Fran stats. I don't want all this. Hold on. I'm trying to
What
pull up some
stats do you
stats really
want?
quick. Oh, I was trying to see their rushing yards. I was trying to see how many yards McCaffrey had and how many Debo had. There we
Just
go.
over 1,000 for McCaffrey, right?
Yeah, McCaffrey's got 1177 and 12 TDs, averaging 5.2. That's stupid. Debo's got 161 rushing and 5 TDs. 5 TDs for a receiver. I love it. And then at receiver, Debo 739. Ayuk is actually at 1,000, but Debo's missed 2 games. 4 TDs there, so he's got 9. And then Christian McCaffrey is 430. Yeah, it's obviously McCaffrey. He's got 437 yards. He's at over 1,600 yards right now and 17 TDs. He absolutely should be one of the top MVP candidates over, if you have any sense, over Purdy. I agree with you.
Well, that just
Okay,
brings
really
us back
quick.
to the whole horse
Oh,
versus pony too. Like you going
oh
down
yeah.
the stable that they have. I mean, they just
Oh
have
my
player after
gosh.
player after
How many
player.
horses on D too, man? How many
Yeah,
horse
no.
like how many horses does San Fran have? I would list obviously McCaffrey. I think Purdy, even though they've got a great
Yeah, he
system.
is. He's an
But
MVP
but
candidate. He's a horse.
but Debo, in my opinion,
Ayuk,
Ayuk
Ayuk.
probably is. Kittle, uh,
Yep.
you got the left tackle, one of the best in football. I don't know the rest of the offensive line. They probably have another one. I got 6 on
Yeah.
offense. On defense,
Fred
you got
Warner,
Bosa, Warner. It's stupid, man. Their corners are solid. They went out and got Hargrave. He was awesome for
I
Philly
was gonna
last year.
say
He's probably a
Hargrave.
horse. Dude, they're stable. They went out and traded for Chase Young. That was awesome. Like they've how many freaking
Javarius
horses does this
Ward.
team have? Yes, Ward. My
20
God,
pass deflections on the season. I mean, the guy's nuts.
they've got so many horses. I'm looking at D.
They have a stable.
One.
They have a full stable. They need to hire like an equestrian team. They have the horses over in San Fran. Nice weather. Yeah, no, it's nice over in San Fran when you look at their depth chart.
Exactly. I'm just like at my Packers. I'm like, can we get one horse? Do we have one? Maybe Gary. Yeah. It's like, come on. Okay. Final thoughts on Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football. Who do you think Baltimore beats Jacksonville?
Yep, Baltimore's going to beat Jacksonville. I think we kind of covered why we like Baltimore versus them. Eagles versus Seahawks. I think this one's kind of a layup too. We both picked the Eagles to be in our top 5, so I think the Eagles are gonna beat the Seahawks. I don't think there's
Seattle's
much
a
to
little
this.
desperate. They've lost 4
Yeah,
in a row. They got Carroll, but I just don't see it. Unless, I mean, Slay being out with already weak pass defense, and that is the one area Seattle can hurt you with Metcalf. But Metcalf also hurts Seattle with his dumb plays. So, I just don't see it. I just
I
don't see
mean
it.
6-7 Seahawks versus the 10-3 Eagles. That kind
Yeah,
of like sums it up right there. Like one's below
yeah,
500, one's well above 500. You kind of have to follow the trends in the NFL. The Eagles are a Super Bowl contender. The Seahawks are not. The Eagles should win this game. If the Eagles don't win this game and the Seahawks do, it's a big upset.
yep. All right, man. You got any final thoughts before we sign off?
I
This
mean,
was
my
fun,
only
man.
final thought would be to come if you like the Patriots talk. If you want more Patriots content, to come check out. You can see in my background here the Foxborough Fellas podcast. That's what I do weekly. We'll be recording our show on Tuesday. We're not fancy. We don't go live. We just record it and stream it. So you can check us out on YouTube or Twitter or TikTok or whatever the social media is that you enjoy. We go by the same handle wherever it is at Fox Fellas Pod, FOX Fellas, FELLAS Pod, POD. I write articles too each week. I'll write a betting article. I actually hit some good ones this week. I put 3 props up and I pick a winner of the game. I picked the Chiefs. They won. I thought the under was going to hit because the under hit for both of those teams more often than not.
What was the over under?
Um,
What was it?
it was 37.5. It was well over today. So I
Wow.
missed the over
Yeah.
under. Yeah, the over hit. I put 3 props in my article. I had Hunter Henry over 2.5 and a touchdown. That hit. I had Zappy under 188 yards. That hit. He had 180 yards. I thought it was going to be a letdown game against a good defense, and that's what it was. The one that I missed, I thought Zeke was going to get over 60 yards. He didn't. He had a bad game. I thought he was going to kind of be a bell cow for him. But 2 out of 3 ain't bad. If you put $100 on every single bet I told you to, you'd be up big today. So check out my weekly articles. Check out the podcast. And that's really it, man, for my final thoughts. Thanks for having me on. It's been a blast. I'll gladly come back on if you want to come join us. I mean, let's just keep collabing, man, and talking sports. It's been fun.
Sounds good to me. Yeah, man, I'd love to join y'all. I'm gonna take a little break over the holidays. I'm gonna do another show on. It's hard when I'm trying to get other guests. I've been talking to Millie Goats. I don't know if you've seen them on Twitter. I was trying to get him on in shots from the sideline, and then Bill's schedule, and the wife's just getting back from vacation. So I'm going to do 1 episode this week. I need to start doing a blog. I've actually thought about it. I didn't say this earlier, but I almost went for a journalism degree. So yeah, man, thanks for watching. I need to get back into writing. I used to do entertainment and sports stuff in college and high school, so I've been thinking about doing that. But
writing's fun, man. I write each week for the Patriots. Just jot some ideas, and even if it's just like a couple of paragraphs, once you start writing, you'll start getting into your flow, and the people want to hear what you have to say. So
I might have to start. I've been debating starting a website, so it might have to happen. But there are sports blogging things.
Yeah, I'm on Substack. So Substack is the website. And Substack, if you go to my Twitter page and click the link tree, it will bring you to the Substack articles.
Okay.
I just write articles. You post them there. Other people will email us articles on the Patriots. We'll post them there. And I mean, hey, if the Packers and the Patriots ever have a crossover and you want to write something, we'll post it there. I mean, it's quick and easy, and it allows you to get your it's free.
Nice.
I make it free to all the people that read our articles because I'm just here to talk sports. I'm not here to charge people. But if you wanted to start a premium subscription, you could do that too. I'm just here for the people,
not at that
right?
level.
Yeah.
I was just happy. One of my videos this week hit over 600 views. I was like, 600 views. I was like, heck yeah. That was why I went live, and I just have fun with it. Like Med's comments, it adds stuff. I had 5 people on the first show, live with us, 5 or 6, and I like the comments and brings the energy up.
Yeah. No, it's been fun. I look forward to any writing that you have to do, and we'll have to do a crossover again once the holidays kind of pass and life settles down.
Shots wants to do one. Maybe I'll have you and him on. I think you and him and me on a show would be a lot of fun. The guy in the comments, he's legit. He's, except for being a Bears fan. I'm just kidding. If he's still here, I'm just messing with you. We had fun with that. I had to give him a little bit of flack, but you can check out the Fun Football Podcast. It is on Twitter. It's on Facebook. It's going to be on here. This is the home for now. You can also check it out. It's on YouTube and Rumble. Rumble's been ridiculous. The hits on there have been just stupid. So it's Fun Football Podcast on all those handles. Twitter's, it's just Fun Football Pod. It's also on Snapchat. It's been a long 3 decades. I agree. That said, it's also on TikTok and Instagram. So hope you all enjoyed the show. And if you do, please share both of ours and subscribe. And it is also audio only on Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, Pandora, if you still listen to Pandora, anywhere you get your podcasts. Dude, I had a blast. You know your stuff, man. That was a lot of fun. And we're going to do it again. That was awesome.
Absolutely.
Thanks, guys, for listening.
Peace.